Hi everyone, I'm Tuesday and I write fantasy fiction under the name Mary E. Twomey. And tonight I decided to record a video to send you an extra little hug in case you are similarly having trouble sleeping, like I do. So tonight I'm going to read you chapter 2 from one of my books and hope that that kind of lulls you into relaxation. So this book is Savage Hearts and I wrote this under Mary E. Twomey. And if you missed chapter 1, you can check out my previous video so that you are all up to speed. But until then, get cozy, get comfortable, make yourself something delicious like tea. I'm preferably inclined to love Harney and Sons. I know I said that completely wrong, but I'm okay with that. I've had a long day, and I'm guessing so did you. All right. Chapter 2. Sleep, baby, sleep. Adelita. I touch my forehead, but I'm only just beginning to sweat from the worry of being exposed for the freak I am. 2 years of keeping things quiet are gone now as Longbraids howls through his pain, bending over to cradle his cracked ribs. But since Tomas is still breathing, I wager it all as the right choice. Except that man bun isn't moving from his place on the pavement where his limp body slid. Bile churns in my stomach. I force myself to look away, focusing on the scared look in Tomas's eyes. I kneel down and brush a curl from Tomas's forehead. "Are you okay, Chiquito? Should I call you an ambulance?" His lower lip trembles. Despite my firm command that he keep his eyes closed, it's clear he's seen too much. "How did you do that? I saw you break his, and then you... Adelita?" My lips purse to keep the expletive inside. You definitely hit your head. I'll call the paramedics. I have no training in things like this. I studied hard, my nose in a book, until it was time to clean the houses with Mama after school. No one told me not to take your eye off the target. When I reach for my phone in my pocket, I don't see Longbraids come at me until it's too late. I'm strong, but not necessarily strategic. Getting stabbed is something you see in movies and hear about in vague circumstances that have nothing to do with you. When the blade sinks into my shoulder from behind, I'm positive my brain must be mistaken. A sharp laugh cracks into the air and all coherent thought leaves me. In the bustling world, there is only this moment, only this shock, that after everything, my life will end so very stupidly, with my Mama nowhere in sight. I don't feel the pain at first, only waves of disbelief that something so horrifying is happening to me. Adelita Corazon, the first female valedictorian in the history of Acosta Elementary. Adelita Corazon, the only child of Camila Corazon, who was a cleaning lady and a selfless saint. Adelita Corazon, licensed therapist and prairie novel enthusiast. Adelita Corazon, whose blood is staining her shirt as her dark hair whips around her face. I have my Mama's features, a heart-shaped face, a nose that's somehow both wide-ish and buttoned, and full lips that never opened to cut anyone's confidence. And now I'm dying, but in my mind's eye, it's her who I picture bleeding. It's Mama's sweet yet determined demeanor, draining out onto the pavement for anyone to carelessly trample over. A gust of cold wind hits from out of nowhere. It's not just a breeze, but a powerful slap across the face from Mother Nature. It's the only thing I feel, so great is my shock that the blade is in my shoulder. If I was standing, no doubt the blast would have blown me backwards. At the sight of the crimson on my pink blouse, lavender cardigan, and gray slacks, my brain catches up and the pain hits me like a freight train. I work out a strangled scream, but it's overshadowed by the crack of a cry from Longbraids, who stumbles backward. He stabbed me. Not sure why his scream is louder than mine. I crawl over to Tomas and slump over his body, shielding him as best I can while I shudder through the agony. The harsh wind whips my hair and tugs at my cardigan. I'm certain the pain of each breath will end my life. My mind struggles to process a blade in my shoulder. I blink and realize there are new people in the parking lot now, but I don't know when they got here. 2 men in jeans and matching black t-shirts stand over us. They emanate assurance and bravery, as if this scene is already under control, even though I don't see how that could possibly be. I hold Tomas, sheltering him from the wind as best I can. I hope the newcomers are here to help. My heart stutters when I hear a growl from an enormous wolf. The animal is easily the size of my desk. I hear myself scream. I know my heart is doing its best not to give out from the mix of shock and pain. 2 newcomers in black t-shirts are equally incensed and graceful as they smash Longbraids against the side of Tomas's car. One of them holds Longbraids' arms out so their victim is vulnerable. "Do it, Cruz!" The larger one with broad shoulders, who I'm guessing is Cruz, is composed as he rams a knife into Longbraids' stomach. Blood spills a few inches below the ribs I cracked. "Good guys," I tell myself through the pained breaths. "They're the good guys. I won't have to fight them too." Cruz's eyes are impassive as he slices a line across the man's abdomen, filleting my attacker open. "Why are you here?" Cruz thunders. "This is farther from the caves than your people usually travel." As he interrogates the man, the clouds overhead turn dark with malice, which matches his mood. Cruz's voice sends chills through me with the power his cadence commands. I feel small, huddled on the pavement a few feet from his massive form, while Tomas whimpers beneath me. Longbraids finds the gumption to answer even through his injuries. "She belongs to us. I'm not leaving without having collected her." He gasps through his pain. "And if I fail, then the others will not stop until we have her." Ice races through my body. Who are these people and what could they possibly want with me? I don't know who Cruz is, but I could not fathom disobeying him, fierce as he looks with his stern, wide jaw and short black hair that doesn't dare move with the wind. He's tall and muscular, thick around the chest, and clearly in charge, since the wolf and the other man in a black t-shirt are looking to him to determine their next move. The wolf seems more sentient than your average canine, zeroed in on Cruz rather than letting his maw whip around with scattered focus. When Cruz twists the blade in Longbraids' stomach, there is no remorse or thrill in his eyes. He's emotionless and determined, going along with his evening's plan, as if murder is a mere item on his checklist. The wind chills me, but the dead-end look in Cruz's brown eyes ices me over. "Good guy," I remind myself, only this time less certain. "He's the good guy." The wolf sniffs my shoulder. Though I've gone completely still, a high-pitched bleat of terror escapes my lips at the massive maw so very near. Then, as if sensing I can't take the suspense a second longer, the black-furred creature sits beside me and angles his jaw over Tomas. His eyes are golden and lock in on mine in an almost human way. It's a protective stance he's taking, guarding Tomas beside me so I'm not alone in this. If I was brave, I would hug this giant wolf. But logic takes over, so I remain frozen in my fear. Longbraids chokes out a reply that's so acerbic I'm not sure he realizes he's inches away from death. Now should be the time for pleading, not for bravado. Still, he jerks his chin to the man who is not Cruz, who is holding him in place. "My Umbunche pet would never be let off his leash as you are. Unworthy cows, all of you." Then Longbraids has the gall to spit in the man's face. He barks out a cruel laugh. He's got to be half insane with how close he is to his last breath. Wasting your final seconds on mockery is a life choice I will never understand. Every breath is a slice through my entire being, rattling each nerve. No matter how captivating the intensity of the scene unfolding before me has become, I am unable to distract myself from the agony in my shoulder. "Tomas," I whisper as the wind belts across my body. I'm begging him to help me, to make the pain stop. I need him to somehow get us out of here. I want to hear my mama's voice so badly. I'm afraid my heart might die of neglect if I don't. But Tomas doesn't answer. I'm not sure he can. When I finally wrestle my phone from my pocket, it's a hefty debate if I should call the paramedics or if I should dial my voicemail to play the recording of my mama asking me to pick up milk on my way home from work. She sang it to me. Who does something so cute and silly over a grocery item? The pain in my shoulder is so acute, I can't think straight. I only want her. If she was here, surely this wouldn't be happening. My debate stalls the second my arm goes numb and the phone slips from my hand. Poor Tomas has fainted on the concrete beneath me. The wolf still guarding us is unable to call the paramedics or replay my mama's song to soothe me. My body shivers against the harsh whip of the wind. The small shudder seems to be the last bit of energy I have in my arsenal. My vision narrows as my body bleeds. I can't reach my phone to hear Mama's voice. I need her so badly. To compensate for the loss, my imagination plays back the song Mama used to sing to me every night when I was a little girl, and then a teenager, too big for such things, and even as an adult. Sleep, baby, sleep. Dream, baby, dream. Love, baby, love. Mine, baby, mine. The numbness in my arm spreads into my chest, slowing my heart rate to a thrum too quiet for even Mama's lullaby. The wolf at my side leans toward me and rests his throat over my arm, whining about my pain like it hurts him to see me like this. Then he angles his maw up and fixes me with golden eyes so understanding I want to weep on his furry shoulder and confess all my sins. I didn't study hard enough for my master's thesis. I didn't feed the stray cats in our neighborhood as often as I should have. I don't know my new neighbor's name because I've been too busy being antisocial. I saw a piece of trash on the sidewalk yesterday and I didn't pick it up. His black fur contrasts with his bright golden eyes, warming me with understanding, even though I can't work out how to open my mouth. He has a scarred face with whole chunks of fur missing, like someone's burned this poor puppy's left cheek and temple. My brain splutters in too many directions. I want to beg him to help me, beg him to call the ambulance, beg him to let me hear my mama's voice, but none of that comes to my lips. Meek. That's what his eyes convey. While the big man doing the stabbing was aggressive and in charge, the representative from the animal kingdom is gentle. If only there was more meekness in the world. I decide not to resist when he sniffs my uninjured shoulder. He wraps his tail around my waist and steps a paw over my body, shielding me from the harsh wind as much as he is able. My eyes are telling me to trust him, but I can't imagine how something like trust matters in this moment, which is surely my last. Cruz, the big man in charge, lets out a grunt as he slits Longbraids' throat. Cruz ignores my raspy scream as my attacker crumbles in a pile of limbs on the concrete. Then he bends down and wipes his knife off on the man's shorts. Cruz turns to the wolf, who's still trying to soothe me with his gentle gaze. Santos, do what you can to bandage her up. You heard that guy. More are coming. They didn't show up to abduct just any random woman. They came specifically for her. And they're not going to stop until they have her. We've got to get her out of here before more of them show up. My mind drifts into the abyss of pain so great I cannot comprehend it. I can't make sense of the trees that are whipping under the violent urges of the sudden wind. I can't make out the sharp words of the stern-jawed Cruz any longer, even as he gives orders to his other friend on two legs. My vision tunnels until the world goes dark. Mama's voice finds me, cradling my soul in that way she always managed to do, even when I felt empty and lost. Sleep, baby, sleep. Dream, baby, dream. Love, baby, love. My baby, mine. Oh, that was the end of chapter 2. Now, fun fact, I have not actually read this book since I published it, which was in 2020. So September 2020 is the last time I thought about this book other than booking advertisements for it as needed. So another fun fact, maybe not so fun fact, is that my short-term memory and long-term memory could use a little boost. So after I finish writing a series, I unfortunately remember precious little about it. Sometimes even the main character's first name, everything just kind of flies out of my head, because I do try to have a rapid writing schedule that keeps my brain occupied and my imagination focused in some way, hopefully. Also, if I'm not living partially in reality and partially in my fantasy worlds, it's no good for anybody who knows me. So that being said, as soon as I finish a series, I'm on to the next one, and I have to try very hard to put the one I just wrote out of my head completely, so they are not the exact same thing, and I just don't keep writing the exact same story over and over, which is one of my big fears. So be nice to me and pretend and tell me that they're totally different, every one of them. Thank you for lying to me. So that being said, it has been 3.5 something years since I have opened even the files concerning this book. So me reading it to you just now is the first time I have read chapter 2 since I edited it for the last time back in 2020. And I like being surprised. And I shouldn't be surprised. I wrote it. But if you ever see me stumbling over words or being like, oh yeah, I forgot that there was a song in here, like, I'm not gonna sing that for YouTube. Please forgive me, because I don't remember most of it. So it's kind of fun though, because then you and I get to experience it together for almost the first time for me. Not really, but it feels like the first time for me, and maybe the first time for you. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you have a wonderful night of sleep, that you know that you are worth reading to, that you are loved and cherished. Have a great day, and let me know what you're reading down in the comments. I tend to read mostly nonfiction. Who knew? I think I do need that like little balance of nonfiction and, vampires and werewolves and all that jazz that I have going in my head all the time. So I tend to gravitate towards nonfiction, and I try to punch above my smarts level, because I figure if I only understand 2% of whatever philosophy book I'm reading, that's pretty good. Like, that's more than I knew before. So right now I am just finishing up Cosmic Queries by Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I mean, obviously, Neil deGrasse Tyson is wonderful. So pretty much anything he writes, I will read and understand 2% of it, which I'm very grateful for, because that is more than, unfortunately, my high school science teachers and college science teachers could ever get to stick in my vampire brain. So kudos to Neil. Thank you, Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, for your wonderful breakdown of dark matter, which I really don't understand, but I got to learn about it and listen to it, and I can't explain it, but I feel like I have a little bit better of a grasp on it. Also, one thing that I do need to look up is neutrinos, because he described it in the book and it went in, and then he kept talking in his beautiful voice, because I was doing the audiobook, and it went completely out. So that will be my Google. I gotta write that down now, because I told you, now I gotta do it. I need to write that down and Google it tonight so that I know what neutrinos are, because my understanding of neutrinos comes from the Ninja Turtles from the 80s, where there was the neutrino twins from outer space. Way to go, Ninja Turtles writers, for having the aliens from outer space actually be a space term. But now I need to get a broader definition of what that is, other than Ninja Turtle people. So that's what I'm reading right now, and I hope to finish it tonight or tomorrow. I have a goal this year, and it was my same goal last year, is to read 50 books this year. And last year, and that's more books than I had read in a year, maybe ever. And I have a bachelor's in English and reading is my jam, but I guess I'm just a slower reader than I would like to be. So last year, I was inspired by my best friend who had written and read a bunch of books and kept track of them, and she had read over 100 books, and I was like, what? We have the same hours in the day. How did you do this? So her trick seemed to be keeping track. So I have been writing down every book that I read, and last year my goal was 50, which is a book a week. And if I'm being intentional, that is a good amount. Yes, I am a single mom with 3 kids. Yes, my job is full-time. However, I want to make time for things that I want to do, like reading a book. So my goal last year was 50 books because I figure that's 1 book a week with 2 weeks off for like Christmas or my birthday, or I'm just not feeling it today. And last year, and I wrote everything down, and it's only books that I had read for the first time on my own, like not like as a class assignment or something, but like something like that. And I read 85 books last year. Like, please tell me that you are as blown away as I am. And maybe you're not. Maybe you're like, girl, I read that much in a month, which I am blown away by you. But for me, that was a huge, big, like, whoa, I can't believe my brain is capable of that. Now, that being said, for this year, because right now it is January and we're all like setting goals and whatnot. This year, I wanted to do the same thing, like set a reading goal for myself. And old me would be like, oh, okay, I did 85 last year. That's going to be the minimum this year, and we'll see how it goes. No. We do not need to be constantly upping the game of things that are supposed to be fun and life-giving. And I don't need to be like making a competition with myself for something that's supposed to be relaxing and fun. So that being said, I am keeping the same goal of 50 books to read in 2024. And I'm keeping a list. I'm writing it down in my yearly journal that I have so that they're all in one place. And I am very excited to tonight or tomorrow night be able to write Cosmic Queries by Neil deGrasse Tyson on this. And if you stick with me and keep watching the videos in order, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, in a month or 2, you will have listened to a book. And you can get started on your own journey of adding more fun and imagination, creativity, any kind of new words that you want to learn to your life. And we can go on this journey together. Thank you for spending time with me. Please hug yourself. Please make yourself something delicious like, obviously my favorite is tea, but I just started making hot cocoa on the stove without the powdery packets. And I know you're thinking like, Tuesday, I do this all the time. This is no big deal. This is no big victory. For me, it is, and it's delightful. I melt like a Hershey bar with milk and cinnamon and cayenne pepper and sometimes like a little bit of vanilla. And it is a hug in a cup, and love it. So whatever your coziness of choice is, please be good to yourself. Thanks for spending time with me.